Guys. Okay. How many of you are familiar with Fortnite? Call of Duty? FIFA. Okay. Ultimate Team? FIFA Ultimate Team? Okay. Cool. So, all right, John, can I have the. Just grab the. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. This presentation, I'm sorry. So I wasn't. Okay, yeah, I didn't put pictures or anything there, but I just put my notes, but it's okay. Let me. Okay. Whenever you guys are ready to pay attention. يعني. Yeah, okay. Um, okay, so with video games, you might be thinking, why am I mentioning video games or anything like that? Okay, no. Listen, when I say a question, it doesn't always mean that I know that you know the answer. I thank you, Habibi. Okay, okay, listen, guys. I'm not gonna keep. Who's the servant of this group? Where's the servant of this group? Please, any. If you can all sit with your kids, servants, it will be any very important. Okay, بص يا شباب. All the games that we mentioned, some of these games have online modes. Okay. Who's the servant in this group? What do you mean he left? What church are you? St. George what? No, Sean is here. Oh, you just left? Okay. All right. So, um, all these games, what is common between them, especially the ones that have online, like that is mainly as an online multiplayer game, okay, it associates many things that we talked about as well as some potentially even dangerous habits. Okay, so video games like it can be a healthy recreation, but modern freemium and social games like Fortnite, Roblox, Call of Duty, they're designed to maximize engagement and spending, and overuse leads to attention problems. I didn't even finish one sentence. What's your question? Okay, I'm gonna say what that is. All right. Attention problems, emotional issues, and gambling-like spending behavior. All right. What does freemium mean? When you download a game like Fortnite, is Fortnite again? I know that I know that you know. All right. So what is freemium? Freemium is this. When you download Fortnite, does it cost anything? No. It's advertised as what? It's free. All right. But in order for you to have like the most aura in the game, right? Right? There's even in the store, you can put aura on your cake. That's actually, by the way, servants, for your information. This is where that word got popular from. Okay. Like this is one of the reasons it existed before, but it like because of Fortnite it got overpopularized. Anyways, okay. In order for you to like have cool characters and cool like vehicles and emotes, what do you have to do? V-Bucks, right? Right? You have a question? What's your question? Is that a question? Okay, you have so that's called a statement. You have a statement? What is your statement? Okay, okay. You can, all right. But here's the thing. No, he's right. But To get certain very attractive features, you need to have a certain amount of V-Bucks. Guess what? The V-Bucks that you can earn for free will never be enough to get you that cool character that you want. It will always listen. The minimum is at least you have to play more than a season in order for you to save up these V-Bucks. That's realistic. I tested this. All right? Yes. But how? Ask me how. How? No, I didn't play enough with you guys to be able to like play multiple seasons. But by asking many people, I like doing my own statistics, okay? So this is something like you will never have enough V-Bucks if you don't spend money. You have to spend money at least on the first, hold on. The first battle pass. Like when you buy the battle pass for real money, right? And then when you have the full battle pass, that will give you enough V-Bucks for the next one or whatever or what have you. Okay? That's the theory. Yes. All right. Yes. Huh? Okay. Okay. That's not a statement, that's a question. Okay. So, okay, listen. Okay. How about let's make a deal. Let's make a deal. Okay. I will tell you when it's time to ask questions. If I don't tell you, do you have questions? Then please don't put your hand up. Unless there's like an absolute emergency. All right. Okay. Just so we can get through this. I want to finish. I want to try to give you guys more time to ask questions. All right. So it's designed to where if you do not spend money, you're not gonna get the full like features of the game. So something that is a freemium aspect or like a platform, it means that it's free to download, but you're not gonna get the full features. It'll be advertised as if it's free, but the way they make their money is that they entice you to buy things inside the game, in-game purchases, usually associated with this in-game currency. Okay? Hold on to what I'm telling you because it's very important. And why it encourages gambling like habits and attention problems and emotional issues, so on and so forth. Before we get into these statistics, in Fortnite, for example, okay, we've passed the store already, right? We already understand about the V-Bucks and things, and we're going to talk about it in more detail. I want to bring your attention to something, kida. And same thing with Call of Duty, by the way. It's the same thing in both, like in this kind of game. When you go around, how do you like in Fortnite, for example? How do you go from like if you're playing BR with just your pickaxe to having like a weapon, to having like a legendary weapon? Where do you find these things? Where do you find these weapons? Shh. Where? Huh? Open the chest. The loot boxes, right? Okay, all right. Shh. Okay. Okay. Last warning. If I have to say it one more time, I'm just gonna read the slides and that'll be it. And we're canceling the workshop. And you'll sit here quietly until the end of the day. Literally. I'll make your exercise that you sit here in silence. Am I clear? Control yourselves. These loot boxes are designed to where when you open them, you know that there's gonna be something cool inside, right? Is it always guaranteed that you're gonna like every chest that you open is gonna have a purple weapon or one of those like legendary or mythic? No, right? Huh? It's not guaranteed. It is the same idea as gambling. Okay? Somebody actually, like yesterday when we were talking about the Shark Tank workshop, asked, can we make an app that gambles for you so that you don't have to gamble? Well, where did we get this kind of idea from? These video games actually teach us how to gamble without us noticing that it teaches us how to gamble. You're not guaranteed something legendary or something useful to you every time you open these boxes. It's like a guessing game that you hope that you're going to get what it is. You're taking chances. What's dangerous about it is that it seems extremely harmless, right? It's part of the game. I'm not spending money. I'm not doing anything, right? But it's actually like you are hoping, I hope I really hope I can find some health. My shield is down. I just got shot by some sweaty middle schooler, right? Some sweaty squad, like these guys sitting here in the front. By the way, story time, story time. So, okay, during the summer, I made the huge mistake of making an account and playing with my middle schoolers. When I tell you I needed all kinds of headache medications and it was, you guys are crazy. I don't know how you guys can withstand all the speed. And the thing is, you guys don't move around normally. You're jumping. If he, I'm like playing with a bunch of frogs that are having weapons. Yeah, they were building like something around me, and I was like, why are you building Noah's Ark? And then, yeah, it was to keep me contained inside of this structure. And then four of them came, and they're like, hi, Abuna, dip, 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 dip. بتضحكوا؟ ماشي يا اخوي، ماشي ماشي ماشي. Anyways, back to the loot boxes, right? You're hoping you can find the chug jug. You're hoping that you can find mythic weapons. You're hoping that you can find all the season specific like cool side quests and things like that. But it's never guaranteed, right? It's never guaranteed. It's teaching you to depend on, you know what? I have a good feeling about this loot box without you noticing. That is exactly gambling. When somebody goes up to a slot machine and puts money in to play, and they feel that they have a good feeling about it, right? Oh, I know I'm going to get all the matching ones. I'm going to get rewarded. This idea, training my brain that I'm going to get a reward, is a type of brain rot. It is a very dangerous six that's in our life. Okay? Yes. Huh? What is wrong with that? Okay, so again, remember, from the very beginning, we said that it's not about, I'm not telling you, like we said, video games in of itself can be a very fun recreation. But when we are not careful, when we become, again, like when we talked about the AI generated reels, right? When anything does not become a tool, but it becomes something I'm dependent on or teaches me to be enslaved to it, that's when it becomes a problem, right? So we are bringing to light the things that become issues, okay? All right. Now, with that, yes. Huh? We can answer questions related to the lessons, please. Yes. Well, that's the point. See, gambling, to get hooked onto gambling, the last thing it needs to teach you is how to spend the money that you have, right? It depends on the habit and it depends on the hormones in your brain, not on the money. That's what it is, right? The idea that I believe I can get something nice out of this, that's training how to gamble, right? Yes. Okay, I don't understand, like, okay, for real here, let me take a minute here. I don't understand what is so complicated about respecting when somebody's up here talking. You guys did it when Sayyidina was answering questions and he had to stop a few times. You guys were doing it during Vespers yesterday, and you guys continue to do it throughout every lecture. Why? Why should I hear from I wasn't going to share this, but why is it that every father that came to speak said that they had a very tough time controlling the crowd? Is this the future of the church? We already know all of this stuff. If you don't want to learn, it's your loss. But don't come one day and say that the church failed you. Have some respect, please. And I know that this does not apply to many of us are obeying and listening and are quiet. But we should be courteous, at least for one another. When somebody has a question, how do you know that someone else doesn't have the same question? Yes, somebody had a question. Who was asking a question? Yes, Shanud. So again, balance in everything is important. So actually, like I would say that, as St. Paul says, everything is lawful for me, but not everything is edifying. Everything is lawful for me, but not everything builds. Everything is lawful for me, but uh, uh, not everything is fitting, right? And so here it's about a balance. Is play like if I control my time and I go and I play, I play BR with my friends or something for a little bit, or whatever that Noah's Ark game is that you guys destroyed me in, for a little bit of time. Is there an issue with that? No, right? No, this is a safe environment. But what if I lose track of time? What if I'm unable to control myself? What if there's bad language being shouted out? Then it would be better for me not to play at all, right? The problem is that realistically, the scenario is never that we sit down and we play for an hour, or for 2 hours, or whatever, right? This 1 hour becomes two, becomes three, becomes four, becomes when will I finish what I have so that I can go play? I become dependent on it. Do you see? So it's not the idea of playing a game that's the problem. It's the lack of control. By the way, the same thing applies even for sports, right? Oh yeah, absolutely. If I find myself when I play sports having so many toxic habits, I need to stop for a while until I'm able to like conduct myself. Yes, I understand. The problem is not with the idea of the loot box. It's not the box. Like, oh, avoid opening the box. It's a sin. I'm talking about be very attentive to, be very attentive to the idea that that it can put in my mind if I'm not aware, right? That depending on the unknown is great. How? Because when I open a loot box in the game and I do get all the cool stuff, right? The response in my brain, it releases something called the hormone. Have you heard this word before? There's a hormone that is called dopamine. Have you heard about this word before? This dopamine that gets released is the same dopamine that gets released when people are addicted to gambling, to drugs, to everything, of course, to a different degree. But when I'm not careful, because I'm not aware of what's happening, this response can even surpass other things that trigger dopamine. So the idea here is to be aware. When I, so you ask, well, what is the right thing to do? Be aware of what's happening. That's why you have to limit your time, and you have to understand the reality of it, so that you're not just doing anything blindly like that. Yeah. Yes, you have a question? Go ahead. I think, are we live right now? I want to say this is a question for technical support. It is not for me. Okay? Thank you. Come again. مش عارف. Yes. You cut this part. Cut this part in the. Huh? Whenever what? 1 second. Okay. Whenever you're watching sports. Yeah. Yeah. It's about being aware. Yes. So Uncle Ben here is saying something that is very, very important. Unk over here. No, this is a very important point actually. Just like when we watch sports or something like that, sometimes advertisements will come up. I really love this point actually. Advertisements can come up. I will be forced. Okay, so we have rewards for the best behaved people. I'm gonna be forced that if if you're misbehaving, I'm gonna ask what church you're from, and everybody from your church, because of you, will lose points. I'm gonna be forced to do this. If we're not gonna behave as mature young men, I'm gonna treat you like kids. So not only will you affect yourself, but everybody around you. I'm pointing here not because of you. All right, I'm just that's for everybody. Okay, so let me finish. Let me finish the. Put your hand down. Put your hand down. Okay, I'm not going to take questions until the end or statements or anything. So we can go through this. Literally, we have not gone through the first slide. Just like in when you watch sports, sometimes there's advertisements that come up about sports gambling or anything like that, and we are able to look past it and we're able to understand that this is wrong, right? This is the same way to approach it. We don't like, we never say like watching if you watch your favorite team play or something like that. We don't say that this is a sin. But again, we have to be very aware. So I know when to say no. Okay? Okay, so the idea with the loot box, the problem with it is not the fact that you open a box in the game. That's not where the problem is. The problem is when I'm not aware and I start to, like, my brain begins to reward the behavior of being excited for what I find in the loot box, releasing this hormone called dopamine. Let's look at some key facts about video games. 85% of US teens play video games, 40% daily. So as we saw when we asked how many people here play games, everybody put their hand up, which is realistic to this statistic. 40% of that number play daily. Daily. So if put your hand up again if you play video games. Keep your uh, keep your hand up if you play daily. So actually, if you 40%, if we count how many people put their hand up, it'll be around this number. Okay? And a game like Roblox, for example, the average is about 2 to 3 hours a day that they play. Hands down. I'm not taking questions right now or statements. Okay? So it's not a small amount. Daily for 2 to 3 hours is harmful. You will find yourself that you get carried away with a lot of stuff. Loot boxes, as we talked about, mimic gambling and increase the risk of addiction because of dopamine. Virtual currencies, the idea of V-Bucks, it makes us lose touch of the value of money. When you look at V-Bucks, for example, you'll notice that like for $7.99 you can get 1,000 V-Bucks. Actually, I don't know if that. For 8.99. Inflation, but okay, plus tax. Actually, yes, they charge you taxes for it. Yeah, they do. Okay, so 8.99 for 1,000 V-Bucks. Okay, and then 8.99 for V-Bucks, right? What's the problem here? That 8.99 gets you 1,000 virtual dollars, right? What does this do in our mind when we start playing the game a lot? I'm not asking so that you can answer. When we play these games a lot, and we keep buying these V-Bucks, the 8.99 is no longer associated with the value of it in real money. It becomes to me 1,000 V-Bucks, and 1,000 V-Bucks in Fortnite will not get you a lot of stuff. And so you start to actually lose touch of the real value of money. I will tell you a real story that happened with an elementary school age person that plays Fortnite. Okay? This is a real story that I heard about. Okay? One day, a dad was coming back from work and he kept getting a notification from the bank that withdrawal, 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 until $1,000 or $2,000. And it turned out that his son at home, he had forgotten to turn off he linked his credit card with his account, and his son was able to get into his account. So he ended up buying $1,000 worth of V-Bucks or something around that. And this happened more than one time. Not with the same, I've heard this multiple times. Okay, what's the problem with that? Is that $1,000 in real money is a lot of money. Okay, that's the bills for a lot of people. $1,000 covers a lot of the bills. At least sometimes that's like half. Like if I get mortgage is more expensive than that, but at least it'll cover like electricity, water, and even a good section of or a good amount of for the food during the month. all the stuff that you need to sustain yourself. So $1,000 does a lot for a month, right? Now imagine that being spent on V-Bucks. What are you get, what are you getting with V-Bucks? Okay. Shh. Right? Anyways, and then of course games exploit peer pressure and novelty seeking, right? The idea of like the whole purpose of emotes. Okay? Emotes are looked at as something that's, oh, look at that. Like, like, oh, look, Darth Vader is using the Force. Or, oh, yes, look at that. My character, Spider-Man, is doing the gritty or whatever, right? All this stuff. What do, like, realistically though, what do emotes actually get used for? Shh. What do they get used for? For bragging and taunting, right? That's what it gets used for. And so people will want to buy the next and greatest emotes because they want to use that to brag. Excessive gaming is linked with attention and memory deficits, anxiety, and depression. I'll tell you something. I am noticing that a lot more of your age group get more anxious, more sad quickly. Even deep inside, we feel that we're not happy, almost like depressed. Even our memory, a lot of times we forget the rules. How many times do I have to remind you to be quiet? Right? Believe me, guys, excessive gaming can be linked to these things. The World Health Organization actually classifies gaming disorder as a behavioral addiction. Did you know that video games, addiction to video games, is actually now defined by the World Health Organization as a behavioral addiction? That's crazy, right? Games use variable reward cycles, making quitting very hard. It's very hard to quit, right? Because I'll use Fortnite again as an example. When you win multiple games, you get a crown, right? One time I was playing Fortnite, just during that time that I was playing Fortnite, and I asked, I'm like, okay, what is the what's this crown? Like, what does it do? Because people are like, oh my goodness, we killed the team that had the crown. Woo! I was like, okay, and so what do you get? Do you get extra points? No. Do you get extra V-Bucks? No. Do you get to wear the crown? No. What's the point of it? Bragging rights? Huh? Just a flex, exactly. Yet people will it makes quitting hard. Have you ever heard like we can't end the night on an L? Huh? Lots of smirks. I know everything, guys. I know انا عارف اللي انتوا بتعملوه. Brain reward rewiring causes short attention spans, which is brain rot. All right? The idea of this like quick rewarding system, it does cause that this rewiring that happens in our brain shortens our attention span. That's why I remember when Abuna was talking about attention span decreasing over time, it's because of this. And even you will notice that the most popular modes in games are the ones that don't take time. Okay, I'll give you two examples. Blitz Royale. All right, this used to be. Okay, what church is this? Your last warning. Blitz Royale was meant to be a temporary mode. From how successful it was, because it's a lot quicker, a lot shorter, it became a permanent mode. Now there's Blitz all the time. Another thing is, a couple of years ago in FIFA Ultimate Team, there was one of the objective mode where you have to do like where you have to, where you in order like it was for the icon swaps, right? A couple of years ago there was icon swaps where you're able to you have to win a certain amount of games in different friendly modes, and then once you do, you're gonna unlock an icon swap card, and then when you have a certain amount of icon swap cards, you get like an icon, okay? And here was the big deal with it, right? That I noticed. I didn't understand then, but now I do. The game was designed where you have to play the entire match, and you either win or you lose. People were so impatient to the point that there was in the community like an honor rule. If you get scored on, just quit so that you can go to the next game and the person who won can move on to the next match, because you had to win like you had to make a squad and win 10 matches, for example, with silver cards. 10 matches with this. So you're not gonna like it's a long time, right? So how did they want to shorten it? There was this honor rule. If you get scored on, just quit. Right? That was it. And so that made it easier to get to the icon swaps. Do you understand what I'm talking about here? All right. It seemed harmless, but it shows proof of this point that we're talking about, which is the idea that no longer is there patience even to complete a task in a video game. Crazy, right? Okay. How games shape habits. Battle Royale, as we talked about, quick loops, as we talked about, especially in like something like Blitz mode, teaches impatience. Emotes normalize showmanship and performance culture. The avatar gender play. Okay, I'm not going to make you put your hands up, but think to yourself, how many of you that play Fortnite, for example, play with female characters? I told you don't put your hand up. He's like, yeah, that's me. That's right. I'm not telling you to put your hand up. I'm saying this because I want you to think something to yourself. Because I notice this. We're all boys here. Why are like we find that like a lot of times it's cool if this pink haired rainbow colored hair lady character, whatever, skin, that's the popular thing now, right? What is the problem with this? What is the problem with this? The problem with it is that this is the earliest form of experimenting with losing touch with reality, with truth. It's dangerous. And it does cause confusions. Today in the world, there are many agendas that you see that encourage you are what you feel that you are. Live your truth. Why is this so common today? Is it because of awareness? No, it's because of brain rot. Because today, even something like games, we are encouraged to play with as the opposite gender. It became a norm. Yes. It's what? Well, that's the idea, right? Because thank you for your honesty, right? It has aura to play with a female character. But that's the thing. That's what the world is telling you. This is the result of brain rot, right? Thank you for your honesty. And as we said, random rewards have the same mechanism as slot machines. Okay. So what do these hidden, like the things we talked about, what is the result of them? So constant novelty leads to impatience. If I'm always looking to, like I just want to keep winning, I want to keep gaining points, what does it lead to? Impatience. That's why even in games you'll notice, remember when I was saying like people jump around? By the way, people you'll notice on the map, they don't just run around and jump because they're avoiding being shot. They will keep doing it even if there's nobody in sight trying to shoot at you. Because there's a trick, an illusion that this will make me go faster, right? In FIFA Ultimate Team, usually the best players or the most expensive cards, the most desired cards are the players that have the most what? Pace. You notice that? You notice that trend? Okay. In Call of Duty, even, I don't know, I haven't played Call of Duty in years, but I remember that the most desirable weapons are the ones where you put either quick draw, quick reload, quick, right? أنت فرحان قوي ليه كده؟ Yeah, okay. Yeah. Impatience. Self-worth tied to avatars and skins is not a real identity. When we do, like again, when we spend so much time on these games with these avatars as our characters, our brains actually begin to get attached to these things, and it becomes not a real, like, this is not a real identity. Consumer mindset replaces stewardship and patience. Performance over cooperation. So in teammates, when we play as a squad, right? Have you ever seen those reels where it's like that one guy in your squad that always that one guy who is a sharifi. When you're the worst one in your squad, right? And it's all these different, right? What does this encourage? Listen, on the surface, we say, "Oh, look at that. We're playing with our friends. We're all playing in a squad together." In reality, a lot of times it encourages lack of empathy. Everything is about performance. And there's even pressure on us like, "Oh, bro, I can't believe I got killed like that," right? One of the first things you'll say as soon as you get killed is like, "Bro, that was so embarrassing. I got to regain my aura," right? All this stuff is garbage. Performance over cooperation. Fortnite and all these games, they do not encourage real teamwork. What teamwork is there? There's an illusion of teamwork, right? Or like, "Hey, all right, you check out, let's flank, let's flank. We're going to use military terms here. Let's flank. Okay, you go from the left, I'll go from the right. You take roof. I got sniper, bro. I got sniper. I got sniper. I got sniper." تضحكوا. That's not real teamwork. But rather what? Why, for example, if you say, "I got sniper, bro," you feel so confident with it because I know that that's what I do good in, right? The person who's going to go around and clear all the behind the counters and all these things is because that's what he's good at. Is this teamwork? No, no, it's not. It's not. It's performance. It's performance. Real teamwork is when we support each other, right? And even, you know, I don't know if it was, yeah, I think it's this season or the season right before, that now they have, like, the one aspect of teamwork that they did have in Fortnite was the fact that you revive your teammate when he's down. And the first time somebody carried me on their shoulder and ran with me, I was like, "Oh, what's happening? That's so awkward." And then like we're playing, I'm carrying Abuna. I'm carrying Abuna. I'm like, please no. What right? Anyways, that one aspect of teamwork where you revive your teammate, that one aspect, now there's an option where you can have a self-revive. Huh? إيه رأيكم? What I'm trying to say here is what? Performance over cooperation. Video games are about performance over cooperation. Even when you play FIFA, pro clubs, same thing. Reduces empathy. We begin to get angry at one another. We begin to rage quit, right? Where does the word rage bait come from? From these games. Of course, toxic language and slang shapes real-world communication. And we see this, right? Why is everybody being called bro? That originated in games. All these different things, right? All these little things that get said. One time we were going to a camp, right? And we're a bus full of like high schoolers. And I remember we took with us somebody from a different church. Our kids did not know this person. So one of our kids came up to me and was like, "Oh, it's cool that we're taking." So Abuna, do you know these randoms? Where does this word come from? Randoms. It's not an insult. It just means like random people that we don't know. But it comes from what? Like whenever, for example, if we are three but we want to play quads, we take a random, right? Exactly. So the terms used in the games, I'm using an example that's not really toxic, right? But there's a lot of other toxic terms and things that get said that are derogatory that originated in a video game environment. Okay, over here, all of you just lost 2 points. St. Mary, if you guys are there, say Mary Houston lost two. Every one of them lost 2 points. Um, a lot of the toxic language, and there's statistics that show that curse words and inappropriate language over the last few years, as online games became more popular, have increased. Many of us even think about whenever we go and we for example we struggle with saying bad words. Where are a lot of these words being said? Even like on YouTube when we watch streamers that play the game, are their language clean? No. Brain rot language is replacing real effective communication. This originated in video games. Of course, as we agreed on last lecture, algorithms push trending content, feeding addiction loops. AI learns player habits to trigger more play and spending. Constant novelty harms focus and perseverance. One of the ways that's very blatant out there is that many games now have like Italian brain rot characters in them, right? And it's like it's cool to have them. Either you have to like find them, collect them, kill them, whatever. These algorithms push these things. So this is how you test yourself if you're a victim of this stuff. Ask yourself if any of these are true. You need to ask yourself, okay, am I playing too much games? Do I miss homework, and not miss like I miss doing homework? No, but like homework that is not done, grades dropping. If I'm offline, I feel irritated. Okay, what church are you guys? Minus 2 points, St. George Katie, everyone. Look, I told you before I was going to do this. It's a consequence, right? You made the choice yourself. If you guys are on your best behavior from now, this goes for you guys as well. Until the end, I will think about maybe before the convention ends to take away like to lift the negative 2 points. But you have to prove it. And your servant has to agree with it. I'll take his word for it. Do I find myself having a difficult time sleeping? A lot of times we have a bedtime and then we say I stay after my bedtime. I can't sleep when I'm offline. More picky with food. See, I'm have a tough time communicating, and I feel like I don't like to communicate with my parents that much. I don't like my social life that much. I just want to go online and play. These are all warning signs. If you're going through any of these things, you need to talk to someone about it. The next thing I'm going to talk about here is how is it related to our spiritual life. We talked about the sixes. Let's talk about some sevens here. As we can agree that over immersion distracts from unity of heart. Right? All these things we talked about breaks unity, whether with my friends, with my family, even with God. St. Paul actually in 1 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 27 says, I discipline my body and bring it into subjection. I should not be looking for the desires of my body or the desires of what will make me feel good. But actually, in order to be spiritual, I need to bring my body into subjection. Many of our parents tell us, look, we're only going to play for an hour. And we take it as like, why are my parents so controlling? Right? Let's be honest. All the time, why are they so controlling? I just wish that my parents can just go out of town or something and leave me so I can play all day and nobody tells me like log off or anything like that. That's so annoying. Right? I'm sorry if this is how you think, but actually when our parents put boundaries on the amount of playtime, it's not because they're trying to control me, but rather that they are trying to teach me how to bring myself into subjection, which is so important. Saint Anthony the Great actually says, guard the mind from idle passions. Remember how Abuna Polycarpus yesterday was talking that resting, not resting, but relaxing is an illusion. Think when you're playing video games, even if it's on VR or whatever, and you're like, right, all these things, and then you hit the floor, right? I remember the first time I played. One of my friends got VR, and they had like a Star Wars game on it, and you can just see like Abuna wearing these goggles, waving around a controller like this, making lightsaber noises, right? Goofy, right? But anyways, the point what I'm trying to say, what are you really doing when you're playing games? Are you really going anywhere? You're just sitting there. What was the term Abuna used yesterday? Couch potato, right? Couch potato. And so it's an illusion. St. Anthony says, guard the mind from idle passions. Anything that keeps me idle, guard yourself. Guard yourself from it. Moderation, purpose, and self-control. What are these three things? The idea of moderation. Everything in moderation. Have you heard this term before? Okay, it's nice that we can play with our friends online once in a while, or for a limited amount of time when I have done everything that is a priority, right? Even though the priority here is that I try to meet in person with my friends. But what if my friends that live in a different city or something and we want to play? That's fine. But in moderation, there has to be moderation, because without moderation, I will fall victim. And unfortunately, moderation and a lot of times is possible on paper, but in reality it's very difficult to apply. That's the trick there. And I don't want to give it to you in fine print. This is the reality. A lot of us will have to go home and rethink, do I really need to play video games for the next while? And take a break. Just like we do when we fast. When we fast, we take a break from the food that is luxurious and the food that we like, all the animal products, in order to put my body into subjection, in order to teach myself how to be in moderation when I'm not fasting. The same thing here with video games. Purpose. When I over immerse in video games, I lose purpose. I have to think, what is my purpose in life? Many people today say, Abuna, I don't know what my purpose is. Why did God create me? Why did God create me? Why am I here on this earth? Because we're so used to these video games that teach us that you spawn into this world, and then when the game is over, that's it. The game is over. The season is over. That's it. The map changes, and your character is no longer relevant. What is the point in this game? Because we're so immersed, this is a standard that we have for ourselves. Self-control. How many sins are rooted or spawned, as you say, because of things in video games? Many people build anger. Many people build impatience, build laziness, all these things. Self-control becomes difficult. I have to put this in mind. The 6 verses 7 that I want you to take from this talk is that the 7, which is what Christ intended for us, is identity in Him, identity in Christ. The 6 is identity in avatars that are so interchangeable. Somebody here mentioned about if your account got stolen, right? How do you get it back? When your account gets stolen and it's done, it really shows you the value of imagine if you were playing, if you have 300, I don't know how many hours, but imagine if you have months worth of playing on your account and it gets stolen. Guess what, right? And even if you play for 10 years, what have you accomplished at the end? Something like FIFA, where FIFA points are purchased and you build your team and you have all these icons and you have all this really cool stuff. What happens next year? You have to restart again. مش كده? Let me give you a real reality check. This is a sad point. There's a player by the name of Jota that played for Liverpool, passed away a few months ago. He had a card in FIFA that was very valuable. People were looking forward to him this year and getting him even in FIFA. Guess what? He's taken out of FIFA altogether. But what is the reality here? Jota really doesn't exist anymore because what? On this earth, I mean, yeah. The reality of this world is not about the card in FIFA. when we think of the like, it even makes us dehumanize even the players. And it's like we think of the players as a card. Oh, I have the gold Mo Salah card. No, no, no. I have team of the week Salah. No, I have player of the year Salah. Oh, فرحان قوي. في إيه؟ Right? Do you get my point? We begin to lose our true identity, that we are created on the image of God, not on the image of a card, not on the image of an avatar that I identify with. God bless you. Yes. Sorry? Can be gaming can be a job? Okay. All right. How many people actually let me tell you this. You know some of the most depressed people in the world that feel that they have no purpose are professional gamers? What do they do with all their money? They're miserable. They don't get to enjoy it. While somebody who can be a hard worker, working in a very simple job, can be very happy and live his life. Don't let the world convince you that it's about like that you can make it playing video games or being an influencer or anything like that. Okay? Any questions? Yes. Yes. Let me. Yes, you. They're all what? Huh? They're all paid to, they're designed to make you addicted. And what I'm saying is that they can make you addicted for sure. And what I'm saying is on paper, it's okay to play in moderation. But in reality, this is a very hard thing to apply because today's self-control is almost non-existent. So it's actually more valuable to take a break from these things in order for you to learn self-control, to be actually proactive in your fast, to learn how to say no to yourself. Yes. What? If you're again, like if you fulfill all of your priorities, and this is just a way for you to communicate with your friends or to have some form of recreation, there's nothing wrong with this. But we have to be aware and very careful how much time we're spending playing these games. Playing a game in of itself is not the problem. Never is the substance itself the problem, but what I do with it. Okay. Yes. It's very bad. No, I don't want to say bad. It's very harmful. Yes. Yes. Shh. Okay. Hmm. You said a keyword. All right. You said a keyword. After I do my prayers and my chores and everything that is a priority, is it then okay to play for a little bit with my friends? Yes. But here's the idea about how do I fill my time usefully? Are there useful things that I can do even in my free time? Probably, right? Yeah, I think of these things. Again, I'm not saying that the game in of itself, like playing a game in of itself, the idea of video games is what's the problem. How much time I spend is a problem. How often I play is a problem. What are the things inside the game? These can be a problem, right? Okay, perfect. All right. Any other questions? Remember them and then write them for the Q&A tomorrow. Glory be to God forever and ever. Ameen.
Servants, please distribute. We're still here. We're still here. Why are we standing up? Where are you going? Where are you going? Sit down. Servants, please distribute the passport عشان discuss it. Distribute the passports. كتب هو اتعلم ايه وايه اللي وقع فيه. ماشي انا ما اعرفش مين دول. سان جورج.
Okay, let's start right away, please. Let's start right away.
Where's St. George Lubbock and San Filo Dallas? Wally Cross. Okay, I'm gonna call some names. Nofer Girgis. Tal. كراس جيد وابانوب. Okay, وكرولوس. Okay, we're back to seat. We're back. No. There is no reason for all of this. There is no reason. Thank you. So, where is the red group? Raise your hand. Red is here. You're red. Can you sit down with red? Oh, you know what? Let's stay there. Stay there. It's not enough. Where is what? Which group is this? No. By color. ده blue ودول بس انتوا blue ولا red؟ دول red ولا blue؟ So the last two is red. Okay. This is yellow. This is red. And this is blue, right? Green. Okay. Blue and green. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Abuna's gonna discuss with us right now the notes that we take in our passports. It's not gonna be long. Okay. Thank you. Once we finish, we're gonna have a very short tasbiha and campfire. We're gonna dismiss. Whoever gonna behave good will dismiss first to campfire. Okay? Thank you.
In the name of the Father. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, one God. Amen. Okay. Please. Okay. So as you saw in the workshop, we talked about 4 characters.